This news update is brought to you by...
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
This is the Noon Barbados Today update for Thursday, June 5th, 2014. I'm Dawn Paris. Good afternoon. On this World Environment Day, Barbados takes center stage as it hosts global celebrations under the theme, Raise Your Voice, Not the Sea Level. Prime Minister Frundle Stewart told the gathering of regional and international officials in Independence Square that small island developing states, SIDS, do not have the luxury of wishing and waiting as climate change takes its toll. He called for urgent action from the international community to address the plight of SIDS.
Barbados wishes to underscore the need for an early agreement on the various unresolved issues in the climate change negotiations, including support for undertaking urgent adaptation action on the ground in SIDS, adequate financing, in particular the finalization of the architecture and operationalization of the Green Climate Fund, and conclusion of the discussion on loss and damage.
Meantime, visiting Caricom Chairman Vincentian Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves also took issue with the international community for failing to keep its promises to SIDS. He says energy efficiency and renewable energy must be at the top of the agenda for SIDS, and he suggests geothermal energy could be a major game changer. Gonsalves, who revealed that his government is exploring geothermal energy, says they're willing to export to Barbados.
Barbados is 100 miles away from us, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines can in time provide geothermal energy to Barbados. The economics would have to be worked out, but there's a sense that it is doable.
In other news, at least one of the economic proposals from outspoken Government Minister Dr. David Estwick is getting backing from Minister of International Business Donville Inniss. Inniss voiced his support while speaking at the start of a two-day symposium on regional market intelligence and export strategy at the Radisson Aquatica. Or Emmanuel Joseph was there.
Although Inniss did not refer directly to his fellow cabinet minister, he agreed with Dr. Estwick that taxation or borrowing were not the answers to rescuing Barbados from its present economic decline. We cannot tax or borrow our way out of our current economic situation, nor will such actions place us on a sustainable path of growth and further development, were the exact words of Minister Inniss. These sentiments are substantially similar to what Dr. Estwick had presented to the Frundle Stewart administration earlier this year as part of his alternative proposals, which included objection to cutting of expenditure through the existing retrenchment of thousands of public servants in order to reduce government's massive fiscal deficit. Dr. Estwick is yet to publicly speak on his alternative proposals, which Cabinet considered and on which Prime Minister Stewart is yet to publicly pronounce. And this morning, Minister Inniss is suggesting that rather than tax or borrow, Barbados needs to earn its way out of its current economic downturn. And just a few days ago, Moody's downgraded Barbados' bond rating by 3 notches. From the Radisson Aquatica, Emmanuel Joseph for Barbados Today.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
My dad means everything to me. He's my friend, he's my pillar, he's my role model, he's always there. I'm celebrating my dad this Father's Day with Barbados Today. So can you? Write a letter telling us why your dad is #1 to love at Barbados Today.bb and get a chance to win a Samsung Tablet 3. Enter now, the deadline closes on June 12.
Welcome back. On the regional scene, the Trinidad and Tobago Victims Support Unit is calling on residents to speak out for the country's children. The appeal comes against startling statistics which reveal that over 250 children were abused within the last 3 months alone. According to the head of the unit, Margaret Sampson Brown, even more worrying is the fact that over 3,000 children under the age of 17 were sexually molested by family members last year.
Ages from 9 to 14 to 3 years. 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Those are the age of children, male and female, beyond control, sexual offenses. It's almost as if it's a norm for incest to be occurring in particular areas, as if it's a norm. It's a culture. What is culture? When a father having sex with his daughter and having, what, that's culture?
On the international front, 45 people in Nigeria have been killed as the militant Islamist group Boko Haram unleashes a fresh round of attacks. According to reports, members of the group entered the village in the northeastern city, claiming it had to preach to the crowd, but it later opened fire, killing dozens. Officials also report that at least 200 people have been killed in a wave of attacks earlier this week. That's where we end the noon update. Join us again at 6 this evening. Until then, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and like us on Facebook to get more news and sports. I'm Dawn Paris.
The Business Minute is brought to you by Signia Financial Group.
To my people out there working hard to expand your horizons, chasing a flawless dream. Keep your eyes on the prize and we don't look back. It's forward thinking, on to the new stuff. It's time to lay bricks on the foundation of your future.
Get set with Signia to be sure the world will be yours. Take you to exceptional, incredible new heights. And get set with Signia.
Signia, quality solutions for your financial needs.
This is the Barbados Today Business Minute for Thursday, June 5th, 2014. I'm Vic Fernandes. Construction of the Sugar Point cruise ship terminal will definitely begin in the last quarter of this year. This assurance from Chairman of the Barbados Port Inc., David Harding, as journalists pressed him on the matter at the second CIBC First Caribbean Infrastructure Conference in Port of Spain on Tuesday. The Sugar Point facility, which will include a separate ferry terminal, a number of shops, green spaces, and entertainment areas, is expected to enhance cruise and cargo handling. The start date for the construction of the estimated $300 million project was initially set for the second quarter of this year. An official at the University of the West Indies Cayfield campus says if more new businesses are to emerge on the island, financial barriers hindering their success must be removed. Dr. Fillmore Aline, head of the Department of Management Studies, who also chairs the Students' Entrepreneurial Empowerment Development Program, says such a move, along with other incentives, are needed to encourage residents to branch out on their own.
We also need to provide the necessary incentives for new startups and facilitate access to regional and international markets through trade trusts. We all have a stake in the future of our country.
Meantime, a government-backed entrepreneurship program is boasting of a high success rate. Selma Green, the manager of the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, says more than 80% of the businesses they've supported over the past 20 years are still operating.
I think we can boast of an 88% success rate in terms of the businesses that we've started that are still operational now. But we measure success not only in terms of the development of business and its contribution to economic development. That goes without saying. But for us, youth empowerment is critical. Youth development is critical.
Green estimates that around 200 Barbadians seek the scheme's assistance annually. There is no shortage of foreign exchange in Trinidad and Tobago. The managing director of CIBC First Caribbean International Bank in Port of Spain, Dwayne Hinkson, dismisses prevailing concerns, assuring the bank has enough to satisfy clients. His comments come 2 weeks after the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago disclosed that it had released $200 million into the domestic foreign exchange market to satisfy demand.
There is a new foreign exchange arrangement that was put in place, April 1st. Quite coincidentally, it came into being, and of course, some of the early kinks with respect to getting that arrangement to work, I think it may be part of what was being felt. However, when you actually look at the data, the data does suggest that, between the banks and the central bank, there should be, enough to go around to facilitate trade and non-trade related needs. But it's a work in progress, and I think that the recent statement coming out jointly between the Bankers Association and the central bank that we are working a lot, collaboratively to ensure that customers' needs are met is not something that we expect to change, and we anticipate going forward that they will see less and less noise out there in the market with respect to foreign exchange.
Now for today's financial tip. One way to establish a savings discipline is to put aside an amount equal to whatever is spent on non-essential indulgences. That's been the Barbados Today Business Minute. Join us again on Tuesday. Until then, you can get more business and news by logging on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribing to our e-paper, and liking us on Facebook. I'm Vic Fernandes.
The Business Minute is brought to you by Signia Financial Group.
To my people out there working hard to expand your horizons, chasing a flawless dream. Keep your eyes on the prize and we don't look back. It's forward thinking, on to the new stuff. It's time to lay bricks on the foundation of your future.
Get set with Signia to be sure the world will be yours. Take you to exceptional, incredible new heights. And get set with Signia.
Signia, quality solutions for your financial needs.